Welcome everyone to HueFin News. Today is November the 24th, 2017, and this is our daily cryptocurrency market analysis where we are giving you the news according to the charts, and that is being done by the price bars and the volume. This is how you guys can predict where prices are likely to go before anything in the news comes out about a particular cryptocurrency. Believe it that it is already on the charts. So that's why it's imperative for you all to understand this language as well as continue to watch these videos, because you are in the forefront prior to any news release about a cryptocurrency, about the direction, whether it goes higher or lower depending on the news. We have already seen it on the chart prior to that news release. So that's why it's important for you guys to continue to watch these videos, to not only understand and grasp the confidence in understanding this language, but also to be in front of any news that comes out about your particular cryptocurrency. So you guys can see that the market cap is now at $265 billion, right? So yesterday it was at 255. So that's $10 billion coming of new money coming into the cryptocurrency space. And it just goes to show you that the euphoria, the excitement, everyone becoming aware of this new digital currency is continuing to grow. And by you guys being in early, you guys should be able to ride the wave of majority of these altcoins before the majority of the world gets wind of this new digital currency. So you all should be able to profit at least somewhat if you guys understand how to trade or just hold on to these cryptocurrencies that you guys have all bought early on this year or even prior to 2017. So you guys can see though that Bitcoin is also losing some of its dominance in the cryptocurrency space. Is now at 51.8%, and albeit I think it's coming from Ethereum and Bitcoin Cash. These are the other two altcoins that are vying for dominant positions above Bitcoin, and eventually one day one of these cryptocurrencies will outdo the original Bitcoin, and it might be several years down the road. But eventually, with the high fees that Bitcoin has for every transaction that is not feasible for economic stability as well as moving the digital cryptocurrency in business transactions, you cannot have high fees in the economic sphere in order for people to use your particular fiat or even in this case digital currency. So that's why we at HueFin News are under the presumption that Bitcoin will not be the forerunner maybe 5-10 years down the road, because Bitcoin Cash has bigger block size, smaller transactions. And if they do another hard fork for Bitcoin, then that will also minimize Bitcoin, the original Bitcoin feasibility in everyday transaction. If they cannot get the fees down per transaction for Bitcoin, then you can understand that it will not be one of the dominant players later on down the road. So that's just long-term projections. I mean, it's not right now. Bitcoin is and will be for the foreseeable future the #1 cryptocurrency in the space, but we are just giving you some long-term projections about which one of these cryptocurrencies is going to be the main cryptocurrency that the world will use on a daily basis. But either way, you guys can see that Bitcoin is maintaining this price. They are up 1.66%. Ethereum had a fantastic day, up 14.32. Bitcoin Cash as well, up 3%. Ripple ended the day down almost 0.5%. Dash is also down 0.62. Litecoin is up 3.5%, and Monero's down 0.29. Neo as well is down. IOTA and Ethereum Classic finally broke through that $19 area, and we told you in order for that to occur, we would need to see a push to go a bar, and we received that on today. So just let you know that we at HueFin News do understand what we are talking about when we do our analysis. So nevertheless, let's go ahead and look at the analysis for these major altcoins and Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is up 2.05%. Last trade was at $8,194.30. And looking at the price chart, Bitcoin continues to maintain price. We forecasted them to trade sideways on today, and it came all the way down to almost $7,800. That's what we mentioned on our video yesterday. And we said it might go all the way back up to the high, almost to the high that was made on the 21st of November, and it did that. It didn't break it though. But you guys can see that Bitcoin is still giving a stockpile, but overall, given the strength and the spread of this bar, we are forecasting Bitcoin to continue to move higher. It is going to be making all-time highs again, and it might happen on tomorrow or the next coming days. But given the fact that we had this push to go down bar and the market moved lower and it was able to close above almost to the high, yesterday's bar gives us even more confidence that Bitcoin is going to move higher. So in the event that it's going to move lower, it may come back down to 8,000 and touch, but then shoot higher from there. But given the strength of this particular cryptocurrency and looking at these bars over the last couple of weeks, Bitcoin is still eyeing for higher prices, and that's going to be our analysis. So let's go ahead and go to Ethereum. So Ethereum is up 14.79%. Last trade was at $472. And today's bar has definitely given us a push to go bar. The volume is high, and even the volume is backing today's move. The volume is also higher than yesterday's volume, but the spread is a lot wider, which tells us that the buyers from yesterday was consuming Ethereum at this price. And that's why we had the result of Ethereum moving higher. The market came all the way back up to $478.50, and that is an all-time high for the Bitfinex exchange. But it just goes to show you that Ethereum is still geared for higher prices, and that's going to be our analysis for them to move higher. But in the event that they are going to move lower, it's a very definite possibility that they could come back down to 420, but that is a very steep decline for Ethereum. We're not necessarily going to see that in the short term. So if Ethereum is going to move lower due to this last finished completed bar here, we have stockpile, Ethereum can come all the way back down to $460 just to eliminate all of the selling that occurred on this completed bar, because this is stockpile. So the market runs the possibility of coming back down to $460 or even $450. But overall, we're still looking for Ethereum to move higher. But if it does move lower, then expect it to come to $460 or even $450. So now we are going to go to Bitcoin Cash. So Bitcoin Cash is down 2.37%. Last trade was at $1,596.40. So Bitcoin Cash has given us a push to go up bar yesterday, a very strong push to go up bar, and we forecasted it on our video yesterday for it to at least come to $1,800, and it came just a little short of that to $1,777. And then the market moved lower, and it closed lower than the close from yesterday bar, which just gives us a slight confidence in saying that Bitcoin Cash is going to be moving higher. So in the short term, we are still forecasting Bitcoin Cash to move higher, but right now it may come all the way back down to $1,575. If not that, it could come all the way back down to the lows that occurred here on this bar around 1525. So the three areas that we're looking for Bitcoin Cash to come in touch is, the first area is $1,575, and if we get precursors of strength bars here, then it will move higher and bounce back higher. If not, it could come all the way back down to $1,550, and if not, we don't get no precursors at this price area, then definitely could come all the way back down to $1,525. And as you guys can see, the market is definitely giving us precursors of weakness bars. No one for the time being is in Bitcoin Cash buying up this cryptocurrency. So it has to find one of those three price areas that we mentioned from there, and it will bounce on one of those three areas and move higher. So overall, we're still looking for Bitcoin Cash to at least trade sideways, and that is between that $1,800 area all the way back down to $1,525, or even back down to up all the way up to 1,800, all the way back down to the lows that occurred on this particular bar for today, which was $1,524. So now let's go to Ripple. So Ripple is up 0.30%. Last trade was at 23, almost 24 cents. So you guys can see on the daily price chart for Ripple that the market shot lower to that 23-cent area that we forecasted, and it came and bounced and closed higher than the close from yesterday, which tells us that the market participants are still eager for higher prices, and that they have came in and consumed all of the selling that occurred today in the market. So we're still forecasting Ripple to move to 25 cents, and literally it still may come back down to 23 cents as well if the market participants are no longer interested in higher prices. So that is the range for Ripple, between 23 and 25. But given the fact that we had stockpile yesterday and they came and bought it all up today, gives us more confidence that Ripple will be moving higher. So now let's go to Litecoin. So Litecoin is up 6.10%. Last trade was at $77.19. So Litecoin has finally given us that very strong precursor of strength, push to go up bar. The market closed at the high of today's bar, which tells us that Litecoin is going to be making higher highs, and at least it's going to come back to $80. If not that, it might come all the way up to the highs that occurred on the 3rd of September as well as the 7th of September, which was around $80 to around $83. So that's going to be our analysis for Litecoin. We told you that it was having a hard time breaking through $73.50, and that it will take a push to go a bar, which we have today, for Litecoin to move higher, and it did that. So our analysis is for them to move higher as well. If it does move lower, then let's see where it can come and touch. So Litecoin moves lower, it can come back down to $76.50 originally, or it may even come all the way back down to 76. And if it get all the way down to 76, then Litecoin will not be making higher highs, because it has literally erased all of the time it took for them to move to $78. So if you have that, then you might need to reevaluate your analysis. I'm sorry, not your analysis, but your strategy in Litecoin. So now let's go to Dash. So Dash is up 1.31%. Last trade was at $565.06. So Dash traded sideways. We forecasted them to move lower, and right there around that $540 area, it did that. The market bounced, and it kind of tells us that the interest in these lower prices is no longer there, because the volume is extremely light compared to the last 3 days, which tells us that all the excessive selling that we saw on the last 2 days has been consumed and bought up, and at the time being, it is not there. So we're forecasting Dash to be moving higher, and we're looking forward to coming at least $580, or may need to come to the high from the 22nd of November, which was around $596. But in the event, DAS moves lower, it can come all the way back down to $540 or even $520 if the market is truly weaker than it is stronger. But we're still, from our analysis, expecting DAS to move higher. So now let's go ahead and go to NEO. So NEO is up 0.07%. Last trade was at $34.85, and NEO pretty much traded like Dash on today. The market traded sideways, and we forecasted it to move lower, and the ability of the market participants to allow the market to come higher than the close from yesterday tells us that NEO will at least trade sideways on tomorrow, if not a little higher. And we're still looking for them to at least come to 36 or even to the highs that occurred on the 21st and the 22nd of November. It might need to come all the way up to 38 again if the market participants is definitely trying to make the market move higher. And that can only be done through higher volume, which we are not necessarily seeing on this particular cryptocurrency. So NEO also runs the prospect of moving lower, and it could come all the way back down to 32 or to the lows from today or even from the 21st of November. So that is the sideways price range that we are eyeing for NEO. But given the fact that the volume is lighter and it was able to close higher than the close from yesterday, kind of tells us that NEO will be moving higher. But it might not necessarily close higher, but we're still looking for them to move higher. So now let's go to Ethereum Classic. So Ethereum Classic also had a fantastic day, up 18.84%. Last trade was at $21.45. And we told you yesterday that Ethereum Classic may come down to the lows from yesterday, and if the buyers were still interested in higher prices, that the market will move higher, and it's going to take a push to go a bar in order for Ethereum Classic to break $19. And what do we have today? A very strong precursors of strength. This is the type of bar that you would like to see for any security, stock, commodities, even cryptocurrencies to break through in the resistance area. And Ethereum Classic has given us that today, and it came all the way to the high from the 12th of November. But the difference between today's price bar and yesterday's price bar is that the market shot there, but it closed all the way down to 14. So Ethereum Classic is still going to be moving higher just like it is now. And the next area for Ethereum Classic to at least come to is going to be $22 in the short term. But given the volume and the price spread of today's bar, it looks like Ethereum Classic is definitely going to move it to at least $23 again. Okay, so that is our analysis for Ethereum Classic. And in the event that Ethereum Classic wants to move lower, we are going to show you where we are expecting them to trade and find support. So $20.40 will be that area for Ethereum Classic to come and touch if it's going to move lower. But as this current bar is forming, you guys can see that the precursors of strength is still there for Ethereum Classic, and that's why we are forecasting them to move higher. And that next area is going to be $23 or even $24. So that's our analysis for Ethereum Classic. So the last one for today is going to be Monero. Monero is up 0.87%. Last trade was at $159.69. So Monero, just like with Dash and with NEO, traded sideways on today, and the volume is light just like those last two currencies I just mentioned. The market shot lower, but it was able to move higher and close higher than the close from yesterday, which tells us that Monero is wanting to move higher. And if it is, it's going to move back up to at least $165 or even to the high of around 173 or even almost $174. But given the fact that the market did not move lower substantially, at least to $150, tells us that Monero is still ready for higher prices, and that is going to be our analysis for them as well. And we already told you the price area for them to move higher, and it's going to be at least to 165 or even $175, and it's all dependent on if we get volume. If we don't get that volume, then it might just come to the high from today, which was 162 or 165. Now, if we get a lot more volume, then it can come all the way up to 175 or even higher. So if we get no volume on tomorrow for Monero, then it definitely runs the prospect of moving lower. And it could come all the way back down to 155, because that is where we are finding support for Monero, because it came here twice. It's the first, second, and it shot lower on a consumption type bar, and the market came and moved higher from that point. So 155 is showing as the precursor of strength line for Monero, and if it moves lower, expect it to come to 155. And if not, if it can't find no precursors of strength there, then it can come all the way back down to 152. So that is our analysis for Monero, and that's all we have for today. Guys, make sure you stay profitable, and I will talk to you guys later. You have a good one.